Hello, this is Steph at Finding You Tarot. I hope you're well. This is going to be one of my political videos. I'm, I've been holding off actually doing a reading on Donald Trump because I've had my own preconceived notions about him, and I wasn't sure I could, sort of dispassionately read the cards. That I would that I myself would get in the way, and I don't really want to do that. I want to read what the cards are saying. So, but I'm just going to see what happens. It's a really interesting time at the moment. There are a lot of there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of confusion, there is a lot of drama being generated, and so I just want to see where this is all going, if it's going anywhere. It might not be, it might just be drama for drama's sake, but we'll have a look and see what the cards have to say. I did have a couple of cards fly out in the pre-shuffle. The World and also the Emperor as well. Aries energy. Aries, of course, it's Aries season at the moment, but also Trump is rather a combustible character. And although he's not an Aries, he, I think, is a Gemini, Anthony Scaramucci has said. So that's quite interesting in and of itself. But let's have a look and see. I just want to see. Let's have a look first at Trump tariffs. Let's look at tariffs because that's his big thing at the moment. Okay, the first card that's come out is the Nine of Pentacles. So, I mean, he actually believes what he is saying here. He believes that tariffs are going to bring independence, sort of that financial independence, that it will bring more to the United States and it will push away abundance for other countries. So actually he does believe it, which is a bit of a surprise because actually he's probably the only person on the planet who actually does believe that about tariffs. Yeah, he's bought into it. So okay, that's quite interesting of itself because, you know, they feel like they've been a form of control. We've got the moon has come out as well, which the moon is kind of associated with the people, with the collective. So I think there's a sense here of they're kind of buying into it at this moment, but you can see on here there's a lobster coming out from the deep, so there's something to be revealed, but I think it's going to be revealed to perhaps the population, but also to Trump himself. Now he always feels like somebody who, if he doesn't want to believe it, he just isn't going to believe it. But I think there is going to be a bit of a wake up here for him, that I wonder whether the population will turn on the tariffs issue. But at the moment I feel as though they're kind of, he's slightly got the benefit of the doubt here. What's going to be the outcome for tariffs? What are we looking at for tariffs? this is not a reliable energy. The Knight of Wands is a kind of go 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 go. Oh, actually, I'm just going to disappear now. So I think what we're going to see is I mean, I'm actually recording on the 31st of March, and he is going to apparently put blanket tariffs on the world um, on the 2nd of April, and I wonder whether whether that is actually going to happen. You know, there is this sort of I'm doing it, I'm doing it, I'm doing it. Oh, actually, no, I'm pulling back. You know, and we've seen that before with him. We've seen it repeatedly. We've seen it with Canada and Mexico, and then tariffs applied, and then some tariffs applied, and So I don't expect that this kind of flipping and flopping that we've been seeing of late. I think that's probably where we're at, where the situation is for the time being. But I feel as though there is going to be a very, eventually, I think he is actually going to be influenced, whether it's by the markets or whether it's by um, the the wider public opinion, whether I mean, he's very concerned by his ratings, by his polling numbers, and so he tends to, I think, judge things by that. And I wonder whether if his polling numbers start to dip on the back of these tariffs, if they go ahead, that he will actually then. I mean, he never announces that he's not going to do it. He'll just park it, and then it will just sit in the background, and nothing will happen. But it feels like it feels like the energy that we've had of go go go. No, oh stop. Okay, go go go. Stop. Oh, we're doing it. Oh, now we're going to pull back a bit. I don't see that changing. Actually, I think that's just going to carry on. It's almost like it's a sort of a threat. Just I just keep threatening this, and everyone falls back into line, and then in a few weeks' time I'll threaten it again. It's got that vibe about it. It doesn't feel substantial. The moon is a sign of water. We've got a fire sign here. The only thing here is that there is this belief that it is going to do something that will assist with the United States' independence from the rest of the world. But can you just would it do that? Will tariffs help the United States withdraw from the rest of the world? Mm-hmm. Not really. Well, maybe. This is a card of conflict. It's a five, and it's a card of fighting, basically, or it'll feel like a hollow victory. If this actually does happen, if they if the United States goes to a sort of tariff model of instead of income tax, then it will feel like a really hollow victory. This has kind of got a bit of a be careful what you wish for. It's like if this guy has won and he's he's got some swords from it, but people are just walking away. So he's kind of isolating himself in his victory. It's a hollow victory, and so it doesn't feel as though even if this were to yield something on a financial basis, the cost feels very high. The cost feels like it would be just it would be almost more than what is gained, if you see what I mean. Um, but I'm pulled back again to this Knight of Wands. It just is. It's almost like it's a bargaining chip. You give me what I want, and I'll stick around. You don't give me what I want, I'll go. Or it just there's this sort of flipping and flopping energy here. Um, so I think that's what I've got on tariffs. It doesn't it doesn't feel very substantial, but maybe it's not very substantial. This is the thing. It does have a bit of a sort of smoke and mirrors thing to it. There's no particular outcome because it's just a something that rumbles on and on and on. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear my cat Lolly. She's offering an opinion. I want to look at Trump and Europe. I'm saying Europe very purposely because I'm in the UK and we're no longer part of the European Union. But I just want to include us in the whole Europe thing. Um, hmm. The card that's come out is the Four of Cups. Yeah, and the Six of Cups. The Four of Cups is a card of, you're not looking at the opportunity that is being presented because you're looking at the old stuff. And the Six of Cups is a card of nostalgia. So it's almost like we've got a bit of a sort of a sort of harking back to, oh, we thought it's like, this is like when you sort of split up with somebody and you're which basically we have. We've split up with someone and we're looking back and going, oh, but it was so lovely. And you're kind of ignoring, is that, I don't know if you can see this, I'm quite a long way away from the camera, but in here, over here, there's a guard. You're ignoring the control that person had been exerting. You had and this, you're looking at this guy here, this child here, who's much bigger than this child here, giving the flowers. And so there's a little bit of an imbalance in this card. And so we've been looking at this in a sort of nostalgic way and perhaps not really seeing it for what it has truly been. Um, I want to see what does Trump actually think about Europe? He actually wants a deal. He actually does want a deal with Europe. I mean, he is at this point, I think, negotiating on trade with the UK, although there's nothing, that may be something or nothing. Um, but he does actually want trade with Europe, but obviously he wants it on his terms. And he wants Europe to come to him. I don't see this as a begging card, but it almost, but there is a bit of a, he wants to change the dynamic of the relationship. I mean, whether it's, there's a freeloading vibe that he attributes to Europe. Europe has, you know, the United States has offered something, a protection militarily, um, and in security terms, but that's also been beneficial to the United States as well. The he Not unusual for him. He kind of wants everybody just to go and beg and say, please can I come back? And that's where his power will lie. He does want a, you know, a trading relationship, but he wants it on his terms. He wants what he wants. Um, and I think he wants to. It just feels as, again, again, that character in the corner, that guard in the corner. It's like that. I want to be in control of this. Those children in the card, they look free, but they're in a compound and there's a guard, so they're not free. They're being controlled in some way. So there's this sort of this element of control. I'm not sure that what he wants to offer is what Europe wants to accept, though. I would say that. Now that card has spun and spun and spun, so we'll see how it's come out. So yeah, we've got death upside down. Death represents transformation, traditionally. As it's come out in the reverse, I'm going to say on the back of this that actually he wants it. It's almost like a slightly illusionary. There's an illusionary quality to this. It's almost like I want to tear this relationship down. But if he were to actually do that, I feel like he's relying on other people. Sorry, I'm fine. It's difficult to unpick this because it's it feels much more complicated than perhaps he's considering, or that he in his head can process it. It feels as though it's like I'm going to say I'm going to blow all of this up, but they won't let me. They're not going to let me do it. They'll come to heel. They'll and then I won't have to, and then everybody will like me, and we'll get some more stuff from it. We'll get a better balance in the relationship, but nothing's going to really be terrible. It feels like that. It's almost like a slightly, sort of. It's the way a child might think about it. It's like the consequences haven't been thought through. There is no. It, it feels like, oh, I'm safe to do this because they'll do everything that they can to smooth it over. and I think what he's not considered here is that Europe might not. Europe might go its own way. Particularly now, Germany has a new chancellor who seems to be not tolerant of of what Trump is trying to do here, and is prepared to spend a lot of money on military and security. Um, but yeah, this is what it's kind of, it feels like the threats will be enough to bring them to heel. But again, and I'm being drawn back to that five of swords. It's the hollow victory. It's like, well, you might get what you say you want here, which is more that Europe takes care of itself. But what are you for? You know, you've just given away a lot of your power. Uh, okay. And I mean, one could ask a million questions about what's going on at the moment. And I'm going to stay away from JD Vance because I just, at the moment, I think he's interesting in and of himself because it is highly likely at some point that he is going to become president. But we might look at him in a different video. But I just, at the moment, there seems to be a little bit of a fracture in the bromance between Putin and Trump. So I'm just going to ask about that. So, can you give me something on the relationship? Where is the relationship with Putin and Trump? Where is the relationship with Putin and Trump? Okay. Give me some more on that. Okay, one more. Okay. So at the moment, the first card that came out is the King of Swords, he's very analytical. And quite intolerant of any nonsense. And so I think they're both both the King of Swords here. We've also got on here, there's a ring. I mean, it's not on the ring finger, but it's a sign of rings, signs of commitment. And so as I look at this, it's almost like there's this kind between these two. There's this. The king sits up in like around the clouds. It's the air sign. It's also a very direct card. So I think these two are quite. I'm quite surprised by this. I think these two are both quite direct with each other. But I feel like there might be the strength card's a bit illusionary actually, because it feels as though with these two that they know when to pull back from each other because they know what side their bread is buttered. So I think it feels as though this is a kind of, oh, actually, let's just hold back on this now for a bit because it's going a bit too far. So I feel there's this kind of push pull in this relationship. Let's look at the bottom, yeah. where they're both kind of vying to be the one who looks like they're victorious here, but they, as I say, they know what side their bread is buttered on. This relationship is very reciprocal. um I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if and I feel it's going to be Trump, and this will might come as a bit of a surprise to the world, because it's not what we're used to. If he, I mean, I know he's been in the negotiations regarding Ukraine. He's been very conciliatory immediately to Russia, um, but things seem to be a little bit rocky between him and Putin right in this moment. But I wonder if we're going to see him try to be a little softer in his approach. I almost feel here as though I feel as though it's like this sort of runner chaser relationship where you have Putin, who's kind of, oh yeah, I don't care, do what you want, da 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 da. And and then so Donald goes, oh, I don't care, do what you want. And it flounces off in the other direction, but then one of them comes running back, and I feel as though that one to come running back would probably be Donald Trump, just on the basis that that Putin is, if he were to show any genuine weakness, um, he'll be replaced. So he can't. I mean, he's just not in a position to be able to do that, I don't think. So we're where we are is so all this feels like very codependent, this relationship, that they are both in their different ways getting exactly what they need from it. And Trump might be prepared to put up with a little bit of humiliation in order for that to continue. But he will spin it in a way that says, I'm the strong man. But he's going to have to do it in a slightly softer way with Putin, because I think just directly challenging him is, it's almost like it's almost like all of the world leaders go to Trump and butter him up. Um, of course, the one that didn't was Zelensky, and he got roasted in the White House for not doing that. But they all trudge in and they all butter him up and tell him how brilliant he is and all the rest of it. Um, but then Trump goes to Putin and does exactly the same thing. It's a weird thing, and he maybe has stepped a little bit out of line in being angry with Putin. I mean, it feels very counterintuitive, because obviously the United States is vastly more powerful than Russia, but Putin is more psychologically powerful than Trump, or he certainly has a psychological hold over Trump. So that's a fascinating relationship. I mean, I think there's a lot that goes back, and I've seen a lot about Donald Trump's father, and I wonder, and I have wondered for some time, um, whether Putin is actually quite reminiscent of Trump's dad, and so therefore he kind of gravitates towards that. But it does feel like there's a codependency here where both parties are getting exactly what they want from it. But I'm not talking about about that on a geopolitical um, uh, from a geopolitical standpoint. I'm talking about it from a psychological standpoint, and from insofar as either man is capable of emotion, from an emotional standpoint as well. So that's quite interesting. Who is pulling the levers on that relationship? It looks like it's Putin for whatever reason, but I'm less inclined towards the he's got something on him. He might have, obviously. There's murky stuff has gone on, but it's more that there's something in Putin that is like catnip to Donald Trump, and that's why he is so willing to accommodate him in the way that he's not with anybody else. But it is very much, that every other world leader comes to Trump and grovels, and then Trump goes to Putin and grovels in that way, in a way that he never would consider with anybody else. So there's something going on there around. I don't think it's almost. I don't think it is something that is compromat, actually, because frankly, what what would there be that would matter, that where the world wouldn't just go, oh, okay, it's Donald Trump. What could Putin possibly have that we wouldn't all just kind of shrug our shoulders and go, oh, well, that's just him, isn't it? I think there's something deeper here. I think it's about the psychology of both men, that is kind of pulling them together. Like, it's at the moment the elastic is bent, is stretching a bit, but they always keep pulling back together. There's an understanding between them. Um, Although I wonder if it's more to do with Putin is manipulating Trump into I understand you. Of course he would. He's ex KGB. If you can ever be ex KGB, but he but Trump looks at Putin and says, "I understand you," when perhaps he might not. It's it. But either way, they're both getting what they want out of this. But it might be a little bit. Let's just take one last card. It might be a bit rocky. Actually, no, it's not going to be a little bit rocky. It's going to be very rocky. I just prepare yourself for it to fall apart. Yeah. But what's interesting here is that there are two people in this tower card falling out of the tower. So it's whether I wonder whether they're both let's say time limited. The tower represents sudden but necessary change. and it will destroy anything that is built on a foundation that is not sustainable. As I'm looking at this, and you can see the roof of the tower it's a crown, and it's round, and the tower is square, so it doesn't fit. And I was hearing the crown doesn't fit. So there's something here that is quite. There's there's a fracturing of this cozy, not cozy setup, but it almost feels as though they're both unsafe. That either whatever explodes here will. Do you know what? It's to do with this. It's to do with the fact that they've both been getting exactly what they want from this, and they're not going to be getting what they want from it. And this relationship is going to massively fracture. Um, but there's nothing they can do about this. Tower is an external intervention. So whether this is a separate thing, two separate things, which remove them both from the equation, or whether it's those two literally kind of falling out so spectacularly that nothing can be retrieved. It's coming between them. Right, okay, well, I'm going to leave it on a cliffhanger, which is exactly what Donald Trump would do. Tune in next month, folks, to see whether I'm going to put tariffs on. Um, thank you for watching. That was quite an interesting little peek in. So it will be interesting to see in the next month or two how the cards align with what actually happens. But thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully I'll do some more on these because they're quite interesting, very interesting times that we're living in. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you did enjoy this, it would be great if you could like, comment, even subscribe if you feel motivated to. And I will see you on the next one. Thanks. Bye bye.